You send a prospect a connection request. They actually accept it. You're both connected. What do you do or say now? Well, on today's episode, my guest Ahmad Munawar is going to tell us exactly what you should do and probably what you shouldn't do. You're going to love this one. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast here on TSC TV on YouTube. I'm your host, your coach, your mentor, your guide down the sales journey, Mr. Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, we're going to talk LinkedIn, but a little bit more than LinkedIn. These principles apply across all platforms, but Ahmad Munawar, he is the Chief Marketing Officer over at this amazing organization called Boutique Growth, where he helps organizations be able to get their pipeline filled. You want to get more leads? These guys can help you to do that and make it happen amazingly effective and efficient is a good way of saying it. But anyways, you can go ahead and connect with him. You can find some of the details on his website as well as some of the links down below. As we go into this discussion, we're going to talk about what you should do after the prospect connects with you on LinkedIn. They send you the connection request or you send it to them and now you're both connected. What do you do? Do you do like everyone else does and pitch? Well, we'll address that. Before we do, I ask you to go ahead and hit subscribe if you haven't done so already to our YouTube channel, as well as if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, just go ahead and hit subscribe as well. That'll be greatly appreciated. It'll go a long way. Let's go ahead and dive into the content. Ahmad, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show today, man. I appreciate you.
Donald, it's entirely my pleasure. Excited to be here.
I'm looking forward to this because I'm a big LinkedIn scavenger. Hang out there a lot and do a lot on LinkedIn. And I've been a part of the receiving end where I have received all kinds of weird messages from people and whatnot. And I want to know what I have some of my own stipulations, some of my own speculations and ideas, what you should do. But I want to talk to somebody else. And you come with this wisdom. I figured it'd be great. Now that we've connected with the prospect on LinkedIn, what do I do next? Can I just spam them and get them to buy, try to get them to buy, or what should I do next?
Yeah, you pitch really, really, really hard. Okay. And then you keep pitching until they say yes. And then even if they don't say yes, you send them a payment link, maybe even a contract, just so you can send PDFs via LinkedIn now too, right? Just shoot over a contract. Go ahead and put their name on it to make it really, really easy. Add 0 to the price point for good measure. And that's the secret, man. We can cut this short. You want a 20 minutes.
We're done. All right, guys. We did that in 2 minutes. 1 minute.
Look, I mean, everything I'm about to tell you is common sense and you know it. And, but as the old saying goes, common sense isn't all that common. The challenge with LinkedIn, but it's not LinkedIn. The challenge with any channel, any platform is that there's a tendency or a desire to game the system, right? Like, let me squeeze as much juice out of this platform as possible with the least amount of work possible, right? Let me hack it. And as the old saying goes, hacks are for hacks. That kind of attitude rarely results in any kind of positive outcome. That's true for email outreach. That's true for LinkedIn. That's true for advertising. Take it from a guy that spends a lot of money on advertising. People listening to the show probably see my ads. If I was just like, let me just spend as little money as possible and get a bunch of great results, well, I wouldn't be advertising because that's not the attitude that gets great results on any platform and any tactic. LinkedIn is no different. So you have a lot of salespeople, not just salespeople, but salespeople, business owners, entrepreneurs, who see LinkedIn as like a automated lead gen tool and can't stand the marketers that use that language, like how to turn LinkedIn into a lead generation system on autopilot. Like if you ever catch me using that language, like put me in my place, okay? That's the most ridiculous expectation for someone to have. And I just click on, and obviously it's smart marketers who set those expectations, right? Because they're playing on certain human desires. I set up some system, I hit play, and it rains leads overnight. And yeah, it can rain leads, typically not overnight, and typically it's not as easy as they make it sound. And here's why, because what actually works in business and in sales is relationship building. And when I say relationship building, I want to be careful because it's not like, hey, let's get to know one another because I want you to like me. In fact, it's often the opposite. I don't need you to like me. I need you to trust me. that I know
Amen.
right? So when I say relationship building, I mean conveying to the marketplace your expertise and why you're worthy of a conversation. We have a mantra inside of our coaching program called the 90-Day Pipeline that sounds something like this. Clients don't talk to strangers unless there's a good reason to do so. And your LinkedIn connection request does not qualify as a good reason to do so. Now, maybe you have some smart messaging that comes on the back of that, and that's part of this, sure, right?
Sure.
But smart messaging doesn't sound like, hey, we have a bunch of mutual connections. I would love to get on the phone with you for 15 minutes so we can get to know one another. Why in the world would I do that? If I'm somebody who has money to hire you, I'm therefore busy, either a business owner or a department head, some kind of executive, right? I mean, I don't know about you, man, but like, do you ever meet an executive or business owner that's that free with their time?
An executive that's not making money. I can tell you that much.
Or about to get fucking strangers all day on LinkedIn for no good reason, right? So that, that's the jam right there, right? Is clients don't talk to strangers unless there's a good reason to do so. Now, our job as sellers, we work with a lot of consultants, people that are selling services, your audience here, salespeople, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Our job as sellers of services, products, experiences, whatever it may be, our job is to front load belief in the mind of the prospect that there's something here for them to look at.
I love the way you said that, front load belief in the mind of the prospect. My next question is, so I'll let you go ahead and answer it already, but how?
Well, I'll give you the prerequisite before the how. The prerequisite to front-loading belief in the mind of the prospect is that you have belief. You can't give something you don't have.
Yeah.
You gotta have belief. So take this from somebody who manages a team of 6, maybe 7 sales reps of my own, right? Guess what we talk about more than anything else? Not, closing patterns and not scripts and not tactics and not say this and then say that. I mean, we talk about those things. That's the 20%. The 80% that we talk about is, hey, where's your belief?
Yeah.
Hey, how do you feel about our offer? How do you feel about its fit? How do you feel about people that you're talking to? Do you believe that the client that you're talking to, the prospect you're talking to, is a good fit to work with us? Do you believe that they're going to be served in our program? Do you believe that we're going to be able to deliver the goods? Because if there's kinks in that armor, you could be the smoothest closer ever. You could be the smoothest talking salesperson in the world, but if you don't fundamentally believe in what you're selling, you're not going to be able to sell it. Easier for a business owner or entrepreneur to establish that confidence because you're selling the thing. And take it from a guy that, like, I took my business to 7 figures as the sole salesperson. Yeah. I was selling and delivering before I ever hired a sales team or built a sales team, right? So, and that was easy for me because I was delivering the thing. Of course I believed in it. I delivered it. If I didn't believe in my offer, I wouldn't be believing in myself. And that, I make that sound easier than it was, right? But it was simpler. Yeah. When you get a sales team, and if you're listening to your sales rep, you may not be the person doing the delivery.
Yeah.
You may not be the person delivering the goods on the back end. That does not, and this is the key right here, that does not absolve you of the responsibility to have deep conviction and belief in what you're selling.
I had someone I was talking to on our social media platform, our Facebook group, and one of the things that they shared was just that. One of the challenges that they have as a seller is the delivery, and they said, I have no control over that, and it worries the heck out of me. And by the time this episode go live, I've spoken to an organization with a keynote, and one of the things that the salespeople have as a trepidation about selling some of the services is just that. I don't know how this is going to be delivered. How am I going to look to the client if this thing doesn't work out properly? You know what I mean?
And good for you. You should have that worry. Like, on our sales meetings every morning, the first thing that we do is we talk about client wins. Client wins, not sales team wins. Client wins. Because I need my reps to know that our clients win when they work with us.
Yeah.
Okay? And pretty often in our sales meeting, guess who shows up for a little impromptu discussion? Client success.
Yeah.
We get the delivery folks on the call, and they talk to our sales team about what our clients are going through. Now, you might say, well, that's a complete waste of the salespeople's time. They should be closing, they should be talking to customers. And I would say no, because that instills belief in them. So the next time they talk to a prospect or a customer, they have this bulletproof confidence that customers can be well served with us.
Yeah.
And that's, the best thing that I can ever do to improve their close rate right there.
I agree with you 100% on that, man. I'm a big believer in mindset. And I believe that if you, if you don't have the belief that you're going to succeed or believe that what you're offering, you might as well just pack up and go home, because I think you're going to have a waste of a day. You're not going to,
or find something that you can believe in to sell.
there you go. Go find something else. So if that's going to be,
I have the same chat with my sales reps all the time is, if one of them has and it happens to the best of us, right? One of them has a tough month, right? Numbers aren't so good, right? And sometimes I say to them, I'm like, have you thought about going somewhere else? Not that I'm not showing you the door, but if your numbers aren't where they need to be, like, have you thought about whether you can sell something else easier, better, right? And often the response I get is, I have so much belief in this offer that I'm willing to withstand a bad month or a slump, because I know that this is the most sustainable thing that I can sell. Whereas if I go down the street and work somewhere else, I don't know if I can believe in their offer the way I believe in yours.
Oh man, that is money there. That is like that's the rocket fuel. So love that. So you gave me this philosophy now, or before we got to the how, got this belief. So let's continue to translate this back to the LinkedIn piece now.
Yeah. So you need to have belief in what you're selling, that we've established, right? As the seller. Okay. But you also need to be the vehicle through which that belief can be communicated to the marketplace. And I know you're thinking, well, isn't that marketing?
I know.
And I would agree with you. Yeah. In an ideal world, in my organization, yes, that is marketing. And I can also tell you that for the vast majority of you listening, that in your organization, no, that is not marketing. That's marketing done right, which fortunately we teach marketing. I'm a more marketer than I am a salesperson, to be frank.
Yeah.
And we do it right. And yeah, that's marketing. But in most organizations, no, that's not marketing. That's not what they're doing. They're not conveying belief. In most organizations, depends on what you're selling. Some are better than others, obviously. Marketing is, let's put some posts on social media. Let's host some random webinar. Let's send out some meaningless emails. Am I wrong? So, you tell me if I'm off.
You're hitting the nail on the head, square on.
So in a perfect world, all of you would work in organizations where they had amazing marketing that served up like this steady flow of buyer-ready leads that you could have great conversations with that you can close. That's not a world that you and I live in. Now, if you can find that organization, go and work for them, and we may be hiring, but that's a shameless plug right there, right? No, but the reality is that those organizations are few and far between. They do really well. And if you can get into one, that's fantastic. However, I wouldn't bet your rent on it. Right? I wouldn't bet your livelihood on it. So if you're a sales rep who is not an organization where marketing is doing its job, don't tell them that. They don't take well to that kind of accusation. But the reality is they're not doing their job, and your livelihood depends on it, then you better become a marketer.
Yeah.
Right. You better become a marketer.
And I think I had interviewed Marcus Sheridan, at one point. Marcus was a big believer. He used the term smarketer. Like, if you're a salesperson, and this was like back in 2015, it's like you need to be considering yourself more of a marketer and a seller. Like, you need to have the attributes of an effective marketer, and not just be a one-trick pony. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's definitely a shift going on right now in the sales profession where I think gone are the days, or they will be gone soon, where you can get away with just being really, really good at sales and really good at relationships and not have very strong product knowledge and not lean towards the expert persona. I think those days are numbered, and those sales reps are going to be few and far between. And they may still make a living on like the kind of lower price commodity type services where the margins aren't very good and therefore the commissions aren't very good. But if you want to make real money as a salesperson in today's economy and going forward, you've got to become the expert that your clients want to engage with.
I think that's a critical piece right there. Your clients want to engage with. So if I go back and I unpack that, you're telling me clients don't want to deal with probably the most salespeople who who are not succeeding right now because they're not providing the content or the stuff their clients want.
100%. So guess what happened when I first built the sales team?
What's that?
I hired a bunch of people and they started selling for me, started taking calls, and all the prospects I talked to were like, yeah, that's great. That's fine. When can I talk to Ahmed? Like, oh yeah, no, great call. Yeah, when do I get to Ahmed? And they almost saw that call as like a qualifying call, like it's what they had to get through to get to me. Whereas we were trying to sell them on that call, or trying to close that call, right? And that didn't work out too well because I started taking all these calls with people that it's just like we lost momentum. They took an extra step and they wanted to get to me anyways, and that wasn't sustainable, right? The fix was, again, not to teach my sales team some next level closing stack or some hack or some tactic. It was educate them on the product. That is, turn them into experts. Now, they're not going to be me, right? And if you're listening to this, you're not going to be as educated and have the level of expertise that the people on the product side have. If you're selling services, you're not the service provider. If you're selling software, you didn't write the algorithm, right? So we're not trying to equate you to the people on the delivery side, but you have to cross that bridge a little bit so that you're more conversant with the problems and the pains that the customer is facing than the customer is. That's the key. If the customer has a leg up on you in terms of their knowledge and their understanding of the problem, they don't need you for anything. They need you, I'm buying a car now, for example, right?
Yeah.
And guess what? I walk into a dealership, I know more about the car that I'm buying than the rep does. Because he's selling 10 cars, I'm buying one. I've looked at all the specs, I've watched the YouTube videos. I only need him for a transaction. I need him when I need to do the deal. And at that stage, he has no negotiating leverage on me whatsoever, right? Don't be that guy. You want to be the product expert who understands what they're selling so well and understands why the market needs it and understands what the alternatives are available to the market and how those alternatives compare to what you're selling. Sounds like marketing, right? Well, try selling without that information. Let me know how it goes. Expert.
I think the fact is when you say it like that, and I think about the sales reps who have the most engaging pieces of content on LinkedIn and are having the good dialogue, it's because of that. They come across as that person. The things that the buyers like, crap, that's something that I have been thinking about, but dang, bro, you just articulated that well. I'm curious. And now that conversation may begin, or at least the connection begins, where it might be open for more dialogue as engagement fosters more.
The interesting thing is, as a sales rep, this whole notion of you need to be the marketer, that might be a little bit uncomfortable for you. But actually, do you know what the truth is? It's easier for you to be the marketer than for the marketing department to be the marketer.
Wow.
Because you as the rep, you have the treasure trove of data from a marketing perspective. You have actual interactions and conversations directly with the target market. You know what we do at our marketing team? When we need some more insight into the kind of ads we should run or the angles we should run, or we need some marketing intelligence, guess what we do? We go to the calls. We transcribe the calls. We look at the language that the customer uses in their calls with our reps. That's what marketers freaking look at, man. Right?
Yes.
And you're in those calls. You're having those conversations. Like, you're the best marketer you got.
And you don't have to make that stuff up because they're telling exactly what the problems are.
When I was kind of wrapping up my business and I was the primary person selling, and I was publishing content. I was publishing thought leadership. That's a core part of what we teach inside of our program. That's our philosophy, right? Every piece of content I published came out of a direct conversation with a prospect.
Yep.
Whether they bought or not, it didn't matter, because every time I talked to a prospect, I understood like a nuance of how they thought. I understood an objection that I hadn't considered before. I understood a way of looking at the problem that they helped me see. I understood some piece of how they think, and I was able to take that insight, put it back to the market, and the market interacted with it, and they said, oh, this guy seems to understand what I'm going through. He seems to understand my plight. He seems to get it. But I got it just by talking to the market and parroting that back to the market to demonstrate my understanding. So you've got all the data in front of you, but you've got to see yourself as the marketer, not just the rep.
Man. You just gave us a treasure trove of information here, a treasure trove of knowledge. I mean, so much information that we could that you can take literally and apply if you're a smart seller. One major piece of advice you would give out of all of everything you've shared when it comes towards being, next steps now on LinkedIn. If you were to tally it up and put it into one major sentence, what would that sentence be, or what that major piece of advice is?
The word is publish.
Publish.
The word is publish. So as a sales rep, you have lead indicators, right? You have outreach, you have touches, you have things that you do, activities, if you will, that you execute on to gauge whether or not you're on track to hit your goals, right? You have lead indicators and lag indicators. You have to see publishing your expertise and evangelizing your offering into the marketplace, the marketing work that we talked about. You have to see that as a lead indicator. If you don't do it, you're not doing your job.
Yeah. Oh, love it. Love it, man. So speaking about evangelizing and speaking about LinkedIn, where can people go to connect with you if they want to get more wisdom from you? Because clearly 20 minutes wasn't enough. You have way more knowledge than we can unpack in that time period.
Yeah, probably the best thing to do is you can check out 90daypipeline.com. We've got a free workshop there where we walk you through our process, and whether or not you want to work with us is irrelevant, but you can go ahead and check that out, get a better sense of how we think. That'll get you onto our email list, and we publish all kinds of interesting trainings and thought leadership, and there's a whole host of resources there for you to dig into, and we'd love to have you.
Appreciate that, man. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show today, man.
Great to be here. Thank you.
That was the Chief Growth Officer at Boutique Growth. That is Ahmad Munawar, and I want you to connect with him. You can find him on LinkedIn. You can find some of his information below, and take advantage of the offer that they're giving away. I mean, you can go ahead and get some of this amazing content. We didn't scratch the surface on the level of his expertise. There's so much, and I highly recommend you go back and connect with this individual. Also, if you haven't done so already, take advantage of the opportunities from our sponsors. They're giving away some amazing things, and all you got to do is just go ahead and take advantage of what they're giving us. It will go a long way in helping you to thrive and succeed. Speaking about thriving and succeeding, if you haven't done so, go ahead and hit subscribe, like this video, and share it. It would be greatly appreciated. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please go ahead and subscribe, or any of the podcast directories, and just leave us a rating and review. It goes a long way when people come in behind you. As always, we share stuff like this because we want you to succeed. We want you to find more of those ideal customers. We want you to know what to say when you reach out to them. We want you to close more deals. But most importantly, we want you to go out and think big every single day and do big things. Thanks so much. You guys have a good one. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video today. If you enjoyed the content, I ask you to go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up at the bottom right-hand corner. Also, to make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. This way, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest sales strategies, latest tools, and things that are going to help you to not only find more prospects, but to close more deals. Thanks so much.